And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. A bit of a follow-up video, sorry for the shake there, a bit of a follow-up video from yesterday. We reported to you that a residence in St Leonard's in Sussex had been evacuated. A 28-year-old man had been arrested after chemical explosives were found inside the property. Now, in today's video, we're going to provide you with a bit of an update as it's still happening. The evacuation process is still underway. Residents are still currently stranded way over 24 hours after the initial evacuation. And then, of course, there is a bit of an update, I suppose, on what it isn't. Now, yesterday, the initial police report stated that it wasn't terror-related and, of course, that it was an isolated incident. We've heard that one time and time again. We've heard it so many times, in fact. However, I read through the comments on the last live stream and a lot of people were going, Dan, you're dumb. It's obviously a meth lab and all these kind of things, or drug-related. That's the other thing. However, police have also came out and rubbished that entirely as well. So let's get into the update and let's go through what has happened. For those of you that don't know what's happened, we'll give you a little bit of a recap, and then of course I'll go through the live chat a little bit later on, take your reaction, guys. So do get involved, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that good stuff. If my live stream cuts out for whatever reason, I've had 2 power cuts over the last 2 or 3 hours. So if that's the case, I haven't just been kidnapped or anything like that. It's a power cut. So hopefully I can get through this unscathed. But yeah, here we go. Let's go through it. So, as stated, residents evacuated from a St Leonard's street have not yet been able to return to their homes following the discovery of explosive chemicals in a property with a 28-year-old arrested yesterday. A major incident, of course, was declared after chemicals were discovered near St Leonard's St Leopard's seafront. The chemicals are explosive and pose a threat to life, prompting 73 residents to be evacuated on Friday. A 28-year-old man, as we already know, has been arrested on the suspicion of producing illegal substances and making an explosive substance for an unlawful purpose. Chief Inspector James Scott said, "We appreciate there have been a degree of uncertainty, but there is a live incident and we are updating people as we have the information. Keeping people safe remains our priority. We understand that there is currently speculation, the circumstances of this incident. However, we can confirm that the chemicals are not part of any large-scale drug production, and the incident is not currently believed to be terror-related." Police are conducting a full search of the property, and residents in all nearby homes, some 45 houses, have been evacuated in a 100-metre cordon between Caves Road and Sussex Road, which all extends to some properties in the north in West Hill Road. Sussex Police and East Sussex Fire and Rescue are working closely with EOD team to make the chemicals safe. Hastings Borough Council have also set up a rest centre for displaced residents at the Royal Victoria Hotel east of the cordon. So as stated, this major emergency incident, is still currently ongoing at this moment in time. And of course, there is another, as I stated, with that update with regard to what this isn't. Now, again, I'm going to get the quote up for you all to see for yourself. Because yesterday, a lot of the topic of discussion was, well, if it's not terror-related, then perhaps it's drug-related. However, as you can see there in the print, it says, "We understand there is speculation around the circumstances of this incident. However, we can confirm that the chemicals are not part of any large-scale drug productions, and the incident is not believed to be terror-related." Well, again, I mean, that rules out 2 major things. So what is it? What is it? What possibly could it be? I mean, listen, I know with this day and age now, I mean, certainly over the last couple of years anyway, the term terrorism-related stuff is slightly being watered down. Now, anything, I genuinely just thought anything to inflict pain on people in certain ways. I mean, would be deemed as terrorism. However, within the UK now, we've got different definitions of what terrorism actually means. Now, I'm going to get the a quote up just to see what it actually says in terms of the actual definition. But let's get it up here. Here we go. So this is what Wikipedia would say. Let's get the definition up. 2 seconds for a moment. So let's get it up. Again, they're saying it's not terrorism related, but let's just go. I mean, again, I've not even read this myself, to be fair. And to be fair with an actual definition, then of course, I'll do my, as I said, I'm doing my best to get it up. But just give me a moment while I get the quote up here. But yeah, so this is what Wikipedia says. I don't know if that's necessarily the best source on terrorism, but it's quite in depth there, to be fair. But terrorism, as you can see there, it says terrorism is, in a broader sense, is the use of violence against non-combatants to achieve political or ideological aims. The term is used in this regard to primarily refer to intentional violence during peacetime or, in this context, a war against non-combatants. These are various definitions of terrorism with no universal agreement about it. Different definitions of terrorism emphasizes its randomness, its aim to instill fear, and its broader impact beyond its immediate victims. Modern terrorism, evolving from earlier iterations, employs various tactics to pursue political goals, often leveraging fear as a strategic tool to influence decision makers by targeting densely populated public areas such as transportation hubs, airports, shopping centers, tourist attractions, and nightlife and venues. Terrorists aim to instill widespread insecurity, prompting policy changes through psychological manipulation and undermining confidence in security measures. Now, that is fairly long-winded, I know, but what is an individual, in an unlawful way, with the threat to kill, as it was saying there in the police statement, making chemical explosives in his house? Why would an individual... I don't get it. I don't get it on the broader terms as to how this couldn't be something to do terrorism related. You know, if you're looking at the report as such and what it says, that as I say, I want to get it right so we can say it. The 28-year-old man had been arrested on suspicion of producing illegal substances and making an explosive substance for an unlawful purpose. This, of course, the chemicals are explosives and pose a threat to life. So again, probably the way that they're saying it is that, well, they don't really know what the individual's motive was or why he was doing it. But, you know, I don't know, just on the broader terms, it just seems as though it is that sort of related. But again, just to bring it out to you, and I've got the duty to share it with you with the police statement, they did say it's not terrorism related, and then it's not drug related. So I'm asking you guys the question, what possibly could it be? I'm asking from a standpoint of trying to understand myself as to what this could be. Maybe I'm ignorant, maybe I've not been able to look at all of the other possible avenues of what this possibly could be. But to be fair, I'm absolutely stumped. And this is where I'm going to turn to you guys in the live chat and get your thoughts and opinions on this one and this update. Ali Jumper UK just simply says it's madness. Robert Mansell says, no name or description who makes explosive substances in a residential property for a legitimate purpose. Well, it was an unlawful purpose that it was saying there in the actual report as well. So yeah, there's no name or description of the individual that has been arrested just yet, and the updates have been fairly vague. But the update that we didn't have yesterday, guys, was the thing with the drugs, the drug den, or the large-scale drug production. So that now, in this update, now rules that out entirely, completely, because everyone was thinking down the lines of a meth lab or something along those lines of what it possibly could be. So it rules out that entirely now. So, yeah, I mean, looking at the print there again with the statement, they were like pretty quick. If you read it here, look, they said... however, we can confirm that the chemicals are not part of any large-scale drug productions, and the incident is not to be believed terror-related. Is not believed to be terror-related. I mean, is that the key word? Believed? So at this moment in time, they don't think it's terror-related, but under further investigation, it could be. So it's not believed to be. I mean, I'm just dissecting the words here and what they could have used. Not believed to be terror-related. Sometimes they could say this is not terror-related, as they did say about the large-scale drug productions. So again, is it because they don't know what it is? I'm just genuinely stumped as to what this could be. Let's see in the live chat, guys, see if there's any more people that would have maybe an understanding of what this could possibly be. Informers of the nationality speculation solved. I think we all need knows to stop freaking gaslighting. Yeah, well, as I said, I like to have as much information as possible. But as you can see, they're still obviously investigating the situation at this moment in time, working with EOD and all of the rest of it. So there's not an end to this conclusion. People are still evacuated at this moment in time as well. So again, we're no closer to the end just yet. However, of course, we will be following this and monitoring it very, very closely to try and get more answers as to what the individual was doing in a residential property on a residential street in Sussex. Chemical explosives. I mean, it is pretty frightening. As I said, you can have a lunatic next door to you cooking up these contraptions that could wipe out hundreds of people by the looks of things. I mean, it's very, 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 very serious. And to be fair, I'm surprised there's no more mainstream media actually going on to this. Paranormal Channel says too shady for my liking. Exactly. Steve Chilcote says they know, but we are not to know the truth. I mean, one of the Labour MP spokesmen for that persons for that area did state that the Home Office had been informed over its serious nature, and that they're getting constant updates by the minute as this investigation is currently unfolding. But certainly there's a lot of silence around it at this moment in time as well for the sheer nature of what has actually been found. And we'll probably have to wait till a little bit later on today for another update with regard to what he was actually arrested for, what they thought the motive was of this individual and why he was making chemical explosives in his house. You just don't know who you're living next door to these days, I suppose. Now that's the scary part. That's the scary part. As Mama Bear Blue says, someone said that there is a big marathon tomorrow. And again, I can't speculate on necessarily ongoing investigations. I can only give you the information that, of course, is there out to play. But the Hastings Marathon is due to take place this weekend, and police assure that the event organisers will provide an update as soon as possible. So that's what the police have said with regard to the Hastings Marathon. Now, again, we can't speculate at this moment in time. But, I mean, good point. Good point, Mama Bear Blue. Good point. I won't say any further word, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with this Hastings Marathon, if they actually come out with anything, with any more information on that, by the way. So what aren't we being told? Again, investigation's still ongoing, so I'm sure, as I say, they'll provide us an update later on. Karen Hilton says, to move everyone for that length of time, it's bio. I bet if it was drugs, it would have been done by now. Well, they've already ruled out drugs anyway. They've already ruled out drugs. It's nothing a part of a large-scale drug production. There's nothing to do with drugs. And that's come from the police themselves. So it's nothing to do with drugs. Jack Smith says, change the definition of terrorism. That's also a very good point. Remember, the UK are looking to, or change the definition of terrorism. We reported to following after the Southport incident. So again, they're looking to change the definition of terrorism. Again, the initial report, I think, came from the Telegraph. But yeah, they're looking to try and change it. So I think Keir Starmer talked about these loners, and they want to try and change the definition of these loners who carry out these isolated attacks that may not be necessarily Al-Qaeda driven or something like that, or terrorism related. But they wanted to try and, so these loners like Axel, they want to change the definition of what a terrorist is or what terrorism is. So the thing with Axel is that he's not been charged. He's not a terrorist, essentially, in the UK's eyes now in terms of being sentenced. And we've seen the heinous stuff that he did over the summer. So he is not a terrorist, according to Britain. And as stated there by Jack, they have changed the definition of terrorism. So potentially, it may be a loner wolf attack thing, which we used to think that was a terrorist, essentially. However, with them changing that, and Axel not being seen as a terrorist, despite having Al-Qaeda manuals, despite him having ricin in his room, despite him killing 3 little girls and trying to attempt to kill 10 other people, he's not a terrorist. So, I mean, again, it's a very serious incident that's going on here. And again, can't speculate at this moment in time, of course, but certainly something very, very fishy. We've got a donation from Civil Defence. Thank you so much for your super chat, Civil. He says, I told you it's Alan Snack Bar, but you do not listen. Fools have deaf ears. Guy, thank you for the donation, buddy. Thank you for the donation. Old Bag says they make the rules to suit themselves. Exactly. I mean, they do. They have done. I mean, it's very weird times. It's very, very weird times when they are changing definitions. And Axel Rudabikana is not seen as a terrorist in the UK's eyes, now under these new laws and new definitions and all these kind of things. So then it makes things similar to his stuff, his crimes, similar to what he carried out and similar to what he did, no longer defined as terrorism. So when the police say it's not terrorism related, then it could be a lone wolf attack thing. But something serious has gone on. Something serious has gone on. And again, this evacuation has now lasted 36 hours, and a man has been arrested. But the EOD is still looking to try and make it safe, and it's very, very serious. It's very, very serious, and we'll be back later with another update if there is any more that come out later on today. But be sure to follow it. But guys, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Take care.